It's also going to end, I believe, Trump's presidency and effectively end it.
He should be impeached and removed for this one.
But this coalition kind of feels like it's being blown up.
There is trouble in Trump Magistan. Right-wingers are turning against Trump en masse over his position on war with Iran. And nowhere is the 180 clearer than in this clip where Tucker Carlson goes from saying he loves Trump to saying he is the end of America.
I actually really love Trump. I think he's a deeply humane, kind person. And I am saying this because I'm really afraid that my country's going to be further weakened by this. I think we're going to see the end of American empire, obviously. Other nations would like to see that, and this is a perfect way to scuttle the USS America on the shoals of Iran. But it's also going to end, I believe, Trump's presidency and effectively end it. And so that's why I'm saying this.
And Tucker isn't the only domino to fall. Here is Joe Rogan regular and former Trump supporter Dave Smith.
Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one. Wow. And not on some not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course, the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of, corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that, Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this. I don't just speak for myself when I say there are a lot of us who simply will not go along with this.
The hits just keep on coming.
This is not America's war. This is a war that is confined to two parties in the Middle East. This is a war where the United States absolutely faces the threat of escalation. 10 years ago today, Donald Trump comes down the golden escalator. And what did he say? No more foreign, endless wars. And instead, why don't we focus on the problems at home? He talked about, obviously, illegal aliens. He talked about deportations, but he said trillions of dollars spent in Iraq, trillions spent in Afghanistan. And what did it get for us? Nothing.
The second you get enmeshed in a real war, not a fake, let's go bomb the villagers and declare success, though we don't even have a good track record. Like, why are the Houthis still there? There's a whole other question, which is how prepared is the U.S. military for a real conflict? And the answer is totally unprepared. Scary unprepared. I don't think people understand that. But anyway, the only reason I'm saying any of this is because I really, really care.
No, he doesn't, but that's beside the point. Tucker also tweeted about this, by the way. I think this is a tweet. I can never tell which ridiculous platform it's on. But it's like the real divide is between those who casually encourage violence and those who seek to prevent it. Between warmongers and peacemakers. Who are the warmongers? They would include anyone who's calling Donald Trump today to demand airstrikes and other direct military involvement in a war with Iran. On that list. And then he names names. Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Rupert Murdoch, Ike Perlmutter, fake name, Miriam Adelson, who gave Trump millions and millions of dollars. At some point, they will all have to answer for this, but you should know their names now. And guess who else is standing back and standing by? It's Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is saying everyone's finding out who are real America first and who are fake, and just said it because it was popular. Unfortunately, this list of fakes are becoming quite long and expose themselves quickly. Anyone slobbering for the U.S. to become involved in Israel and Iran war is not America first / MAGA. Wishing for murder of innocent people is disgusting. We're sick and tired of foreign wars, all of them. And then she says America first 3 times, and I don't know. But the seams are coming undone. And there are 2 undeniable truths right now. 1, this is undeniably very fun to watch. I know the world's about to come to an end, but I can't deny it. I find some kind of pleasure. Tucker Carlson hates Sean Hannity publicly. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not saying she hates Trump, but she is saying that people who are leading us into war are not America first and not true MAGA. And Trump is leading us into war. Or, this is even more fun, the guy that Marjorie Taylor Greene thought was so big and strong that she groped like a cardboard cutout of him is not strong enough to stop us from being led into war by someone else. So that's the first thing. I love to watch them fight. The second undeniable truth is we do not have to accept these dipshits into our fold. That is not a necessary condition of us winning. And how could we? They say stuff like this.
Donald J. Trump gets elected in November on the back of this amazing coalition. But this coalition, which you described earlier and more precisely than anybody by far, is the defining fact of American politics. And it kind of feels like it's being blown up over this war in Iran.
And I'm a big supporter of Israel.
Yes.
And I'm telling people, hey, if we get sucked into this war, which inexorably looks like it's going to happen on the combat side, it's going to not just blow up the coalition, it's also going to thwart what we're doing with the most important thing, which is the deportation of the illegal alien invaders that are here.
Right. So Steve Bannon is not against war with Iran simply because it is bad. He's against it because it stops the military from really focusing on invading Los Angeles and like locking up a bunch of people and sending these illegal alien extraterrestrial Mexicans home. I do not want or need that slime lord on my side, but I can do my part to do the thing that they're warning against, which is dissolving their coalition. We can point out at every single possible turn that Donald Trump is a neocon war hawk, and they will either convince him to not start World War III, which would be a good thing for people who like to stay alive, or they might just get disengaged from the whole process and make Trump's life hell because he needed those folks to be engaged in politics so he could have support to stay in power. And there's people kind of in between, right? And by that, I kind of mean the manosphere. These are people who voted for Trump, who kind of turned to embrace Trump in the waning days of the 2024 election, but are kind of regretting it now. They've been calling out Trump more and more for the ridiculous stuff he's done. Now, I could play you a montage, or you could just watch all the videos I've made on that in the last few weeks. These guys have come out against Trump pretty explicitly when it comes to his refusal to hand over the Epstein files. And if you want me to be explicit about how they're different from like Steve Bannon, they've come out against Trump when it comes to deportation.
But then there's also legitimate arguments on the other side. Like the other side is making a very legitimate argument about the right to due process if you get processed and shipped out of the country and put in a prison in El Salvador.
This issue, I already showed you Dave Smith, who goes on Rogan's show all the time. There's rifts there. I mean, just look at how Tim Dillon's talking about this war with Iran.
The people that are pushing for these wars, like, and the guys that are very, like, blasé and casual about them giving money to Israel for endless wars, years and years. Whether you support them morally or not, just a reality that they go on years, 2 years, 3 years. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. I think a lot of people looked at that and went, this doesn't make any sense. It's not rational that the country that we live in is seemingly in terminal, irreversible decline and that nobody can do anything about it. But we must be all over the world funding things here and there that your kids on TikTok come up to you and go, why are we doing this? This baby just got beheaded, and you have to go, well, it's complicated.
So I think these guys are, what the did I just go through puberty? These guys, I'm just kidding, I haven't gone through puberty. These guys are the ones that we can get back into our fold. And they should be. Yes, they do make crass jokes, but they do seem to kind of be into like universal healthcare.
Where are you at with healthcare?
I think healthcare 100% should be socially funded. I think that Medicare and Medicaid, having programs where people who are hurt can get an operation and it's not going to bankrupt them for the rest of their life is another thing that I think society should be. It should be a part of our agreement to take care of each other as a community, that we chip in money for what people would think of as socialist positions.
I mean, I feel like they put the roadmap out for us. I don't really need to read between the lines there. These guys hate that they can't say the word retarded. They think that Trump's kind of cooler than the stuck-up left. But on the other hand, they want peace, socialist medicine, government programs that help people. They want due process and all the other stuff that people on the left generally support. Our job, to paraphrase Gilbert Gottfried in one of the Beverly Hills Cop movies when he's trying to bribe Axel Foley, they've got this one thing in the one hand that's really bad. How can I make them focus on the thing in the other hand that they like that will make them forget whatever I had in this hand? And if we can do that, we can shrink their coalition and build ours. That's my time. Thanks for watching. I'll show you a nipple next time. I just ran out of time. I would have done it if the runtime of this was a little shorter. I would have flipped it up, but you'll have to see my nipple constellation. There's like 15 of them some other time.